had a conversation. Well, I was in a conversation today on a Facebook group, and I want to hit on it. It's getting to a certain spot in your business, and you feel like you can't grow, or you don't know what to do. Now, this person has been in business for probably 2 or 3 years, and he has one that he's not in the best location. He's in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. He does all right. And yes, I'm here at Santa Claus, Indiana. We're headed back. This will be our last night gone for our memory trip, is what we're calling it. It is good to have memory trips. So this is where we are. We got a beautiful view over here. But this person, like I said, he's grown a business. Again, it's not in the best neighborhood. It's not like they have lots of high houses, and that he is close enough to Lexington, Kentucky, Winchester, Kentucky, that you can go get work here. So his question was, how can I grow my business to the next level? What are some things I can do to grow my business to the next level? And I've also had this conversation a couple weeks ago with another person feeling that he can't grow his business. And they've gotten it to about 100,000, doing very well, not bad at all, has a helper, but he feels like he wants to go there. So Jason, being Jason, my first question always are about money. What is your average ticket? And if you don't know your numbers, it's going to be really hard to grow your business. He's like between $500 and $800. Let's think about that. What is your average ticket for house washing, gutter cleaning, roof cleaning? I don't care what it is, what business you're in. What is your average ticket? And you come up with $500 to $800. First off, that tells me you don't know your numbers. You don't know what money's coming in. You don't know what money's going out. You don't know your numbers. And that is not a good spot to be. That's number one, not knowing your numbers. There's CRMs out there. There's, if you're too tight to buy a CRM of $40, $50, $100, and you're too tight to do that, then maybe you might not want to grow your business, because there is things you have to do to grow your business. And knowing your numbers is very, very, very important. In fact, I'd probably say that could be one of the most important things that you need to know is knowing your numbers, knowing what your average ticket is, knowing what's the average cost of your truck? How much does it cost you to go out every day? What are these numbers? That kind of thing. And then the number two thing that I see, and this is coming from two different people. This is coming from the one today and the one the other day, is having an employee that can't run a truck. Oh, he's a great employee, but I can't leave him on the truck by myself without me. Well, then let's talk about that. Because if you're paying him really well, then you have an overpriced helper, and that's not a good thing. And this goes back to knowing your numbers. And if you can't run a truck by yourself, what are things that you need to do to make sure that you can run a truck by themselves? So this is where a lot of people get stuck of, What do we need to do to make sure that I can have a truck without me, the owner, on the truck? So here are some things that we need to have. First off, we need to have systems. And when I mean systems, I don't mean a system of we go wash a house and we're done. No, we need systems that, all right, A, where do we park at? Do we park on the street? Do we park in there? If you know me, my system says you park on the street no matter what, unless it is a busy road or a long driveway. That's the only two reasons why you do not park in the driveway. So that's step one. Step two, go talk to the customer. Give him a script, what to say. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, we got that done. Next thing, he goes and gets a water hose. He then goes around and does his pictures. Then he does, after he does his pictures, and this needs to be a check sheet. Whether you're doing this check sheet in photos, I can take a picture of where my truck is. I can take a picture of my garden hose. I can take a picture of my 5-around. I can take a picture of that, my sign. I can take pictures of all that. But if not, have literally a check sheet that you check off. You can do it computer. You can do it with jot form. Jot form is another way that you can do of getting this done. These are things that you can do so that you can make sure that and here's the other thing. When we're hiring people, we're not hiring helpers. That's a big mistake that a lot of people make. That is probably one of the biggest things that we hire people, and we hire them as helpers. No, hire them with the intent of a technician, because if he's just a helper, he will always be a helper. He will never want to go out there on his own because he's just a helper. And if you're paying this dude $15, $20, $25 as a helper, you're paying way too much. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we are hiring technicians. We are hiring for lead technicians, because this is where we want to do. If we want to get off the truck, this is what we got to do. Okay, so having systems for this employee is the next thing. So first thing was, again, not knowing your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, it's really hard to be able to grow a business. It is probably one of the hardest things to do, is grow a business and you don't know your numbers. You don't know how much it's costing you. You don't know what your average ticket is. You don't know if you're making money or losing money. You don't know, because you don't know. So, and you don't know what you don't know. So we go from marketing or knowing your numbers, then you go to knowing you having your helper as a technician. Not a helper, a technician. So that's number 2, having a technician. These two here are what are steps of growing your business. Now, you might be happy at where you are, because his original question was, what do I do with all these leads? My phone is blowing up. Well, that goes back to what I said the first time. What is your average ticket? Well, when you tell me I think it was $300 to $800, that tells me your average ticket is either A, way too low, or you're not charging enough. One of the two, or maybe both. And so with that, this is why we got to raise our prices. If we're getting so many leads that we can't get to them, and we're getting so many leads in that it's like we don't know what to do with them, we can't keep up with them, then one thing, that means you're doing really good marketing, maybe, if you're not getting your right customer. But then 2, we got to raise our prices. If he would have told me, hey, my average ticket is $800 and I'm doing 3 jobs a day for $2,400 a day, I'd say you're doing really well. But if your average ticket is $300 and you're doing 3 jobs a day and you're only making $900 a day on that truck, then you're not doing so well, because $900 a day isn't going to be very good for marketing, paying employees, paying taxes, paying payroll taxes, paying workers' comp, whatever else we got to pay, right? Because that's the part of running a business. That's the part of running a business. And this is why a lot of people struggle when they hit this 70, 80,000, $100,000 mark, and maybe even 150. And so this is definitely something that, and here's the deal. I'll be right honest with you. There's not a lot of people that are good business owners. What do I mean by not a good business owner? I wasn't a very good business owner. The only thing I had ever done is I did go to college to be a diesel mechanic, to work with my hands and to be a diesel mechanic and an automotive mechanic. So, I got a 2-year degree in auto diesel technology. The degree part was basic math, basics English, history, and I failed. What was the class I failed that I had to retake over? It was about government. That was about the most business stuff that I had known to know about business and how to run a business and everything about business side of things. So that's why a lot of us guys that are the technician mindset, that's why a lot of the guys that are technician mindset struggle with not knowing how to run a business. We're getting money in. We're not paying attention of how it's coming in. We're not paying attention. We don't have tracking numbers on our phone numbers to see what's bringing us business, what's losing us business, what we dumping money into, all of those things out there. So I used to help build Allison transmission. I've done one, and that was in college. And so this is definitely something that, as a person trying to grow a business, needs to learn. Now, also, this is the same person a lot of times will ask questions, but when I say, have you ever thought about taking lessons, training in Business 101, or do you have a mentor that teaches you business, or do you go to different things to learn about business? This is what you got to do. Because again, the reason why people struggle, and it gets to about that 100,000 to 150,000, is because you got to either crap or you got to get off the pot. You either got to say, I'm happy here, or I want to go to the next level. So, for instance, Greg Townsend is in this same position right now. He's in the position of getting to hire employees, wanting to get another truck on, but it's hard because he's another one that has gotten to $100,000 or a little bit more, $100,000 or a little bit more, and he don't have a CRM. He, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not dogging Greg Townsend at all. In fact, I love Greg Townsend. He's one of my favorites. But there comes a point that you got to go and do business. You got to figure out what you want and how to do it. And a lot of times we don't always know. Greg Townsend used to be a drug dealer. There was no CRMs in drug dealing. There was no taking credit cards in drug dealing. There was none of that stuff. But now there was some business principles in it. It's just a little different. So there's things that we have to do to be able to hit that getting to the next level, to get off the truck, to figure out what I need to do. And again, the reason why I'm hitting on this is because, like I said, I had a guy in one of the Facebook groups, and here's the other thing. Here's one other thing before I go and just start talking here about other things. Own it. And what do I mean by own it? If you suck at something, don't be afraid to take criticism and say that you suck. Because if you say you suck, and I'm willing to help you out. But if you give me excuses, and this is what he did 2 or 3 times, was excuses. If you just want excuses, that's not good. Excuses aren't going to grow your business. Excuses isn't going to change anything. Excuses. And what I mean by excuses well, the first thing I said was raise your prices. Well, I feel comfortable at $500 to $800 is my average ticket, and that's where I feel comfortable at. Okay, are you comfortable? Or are you afraid to raise your prices? Because here's the other thing I could have asked, and I knew what the answer was going to be, is he was either going to give me a line of crap of what is your close rate? What percentage of close rate are you at? Well, I'm already going to tell you right now that he didn't know his close rate, because if you can't tell me your average ticket, you can't tell me your close rate. So if you don't know your close rate, you don't know if you're closing 90% or 50%. You don't know if you're closing 95% or 88%. So these are definitely things that we need to know how to be able to grow a business. These are the things that will get us to the next level. These are also the things of reason why you can't make $100,000. And when I mean by can't make $100,000, I mean you can't go over $100,000. You can't figure out how to get to the next level. You get to a level of where you feel comfortable, and a lot of times you're making cash, you're bringing cash in, and everything's good, and you're not paying attention to your numbers, and we don't know. And here's one other thing that I'm going to hit on real quick too is when I mean by raising prices, I do mean by raising prices. But if we don't have financial budgets and for our personal life and our business life, just because we make more money doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. Just because you make more money, you might be spending more on stuff that you don't need to be doing. Because what happens is you make more money and you just spend more money. And this is proven over and over and over. Just because you make more money and you spend more money doesn't mean you're successful. Because here's what happens. What happens if a pandemic happens? What happens if 2008 happens? Some of you might not be old enough to know what happened in 2008 with the markets and crashing and stuff. But if you don't have, if you have to fight shiny syndrome every day, and that can be very tough, because shiny syndrome can be very hard. Because what happens with shiny syndrome is the next thing we know, we got more debt than we know what we have. We have a new truck payment. We have new equipment payment. We have all these payments coming in. And man, when we're making good money, it's easy. But what happens usually is the next thing happens. And this is the next thing that happens. The money drives away, and now we become the $99 guy, because we got to make that truck payment. We got to make that house payment. We got to make rent. We got to make payroll. And yes, when the money was good, that was awesome. But when the money's not good, that's not good. And this goes back to knowing our numbers. And remember, guys, I don't want you to be working till you're 70. So make sure you're putting money away in investments. Whether it is the stock market, and you can do IRA, you can do a SEP IRA, you can do real estate, something that is making you money while you are sleeping, something that you can retire on. Because I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to be pressure washing when you're 70 years old. Or I should say, very few of you will be pressure washing when you're 70 years old. And I don't want you pressure washing. I want you to get financial freedom so that you can do the things you want to do. You can make the memories with your kids. You can make the memories with your grandkids. So that way they will remember you and you will remember them. Because if all they remember is you working 70, 80 hours a week, that's no fun for anybody, because you will die eventually. And that is a guarantee in life. There's two guarantees in life: paying taxes and dying. And I don't want you to do the second one right now. I'd rather you pay taxes, and I'd rather you not pay too much in taxes. I'd rather you pay a little bit in taxes, put a whole lot in retirement, so that way you can do things to be able to grow your business and get it to the next level. So while we're up here in Santa Claus land, we got some Christmas lights somewhere down in here. Not very good. You'd think at Santa Claus World they'd have a lot better Christmas lights. I will be having a Christmas light training coming up in August, and probably one in September. I'm trying to book the dates now. So the one in August will be a pressure washing Christmas light class. It'll be a Friday, Saturday. So Friday will be one, Saturday will be the other one. And it's probably going to be in Connecticut with Mr. Fred Zimmerman. Mr. Fred Zimmerman has done Christmas lights for about 10 years. And this year, last year or two, he's actually finally gotten profitable because he started listening to what I say. Raise your prices, and not everybody's your freaking customer. I know that's a hard thing to understand, but again, not everybody is your customer. There's a lot of times that we think everybody's our customer, and here's the other thing: go find those customers that you want. Go find where those customers are. So that is definitely something you want to do. Inflation is up almost 5%, and that's a good point. It's going up. It is going up. Pay is going up, and so guess what happens? If they get this, what they're trying to do, of $15 an hour or even close, everything is going to jack up even more. And this ain't Jason trying to do a scare tactic or that. This is just the way it is. Some people don't realize that money is going up. So you got to keep raising your prices. You got to keep doing those things. All right, I've seen some good questions up in here. Haven't seen Greg in a while. Work is getting in my way so bad. Lack of spring weather has cost me a dime, but I've had so much anxiety scheduling full weeks with a job. One screwed up day and I'm in. Yeah, sometimes it can be hard. There's two hardest times in business. One is going full-time, and number two is getting off the truck. Those are the two hardest things that we have to deal with in here. Drive it like you stole it and bone it like you own it. I never heard that one. I like that one. Mark Murphy, have to stay below 50% close rate or you're too cheap. I got a $1,700 job on Thursday because of packages and following up. Those two things right there are the most important thing in marketing and in business. Packages, and not only packages, but following up. If you're not following up with a phone call, you're not following up with emails and text and phone calls. And yes, you have to follow up with phone calls. And yes, I know you don't like to do that. You don't have time to follow up. But those two things there are very important. Following up with phone calls and following up with text and following up. If you're not following up, you're burning money at this point because you paid for those leads and now they're just gone. First $10,000 month. That is amazing, State Line. And that's my average ticket is $465. That is an awesome win, dude. That is definitely an awesome win to do a $10,000 month in, well, I'm assuming June. So that is awesome. Most colleges have a small business program to help your business for free. It's all CEOs, other executives, and entrepreneurs and they'll mentor you. Google local SBA. I've actually heard about that, and that is a good thing to do. A $400 day is 100,000. One $400 job a day is 100,000. My average went from 260 last year to 405 currently, but my close rate is 85%. So you can keep raising your prices and getting more close, get your average ticket up. When the money is good, invest in recurring revenue. Yep. I think my mid-May to mid-June was 6,500. Awesome. Jason, so true. How much can you make and keep and put away? The rain is coming. Got to think long term and not just today. Creative passive. Build your business, big sell it, and go fish and drink. And that's a lot of things too. A lot of people don't understand. If you want to sell your business can't be you. It can't be a one-man show. It can't be at $100,000 and think you're going to get $100,000. It's not going to work that way. It's not. You have to have a business that runs by itself. You have to have service managers. You have to have operation managers. You have to have an office manager. You have to have all kinds of stuff so this business will run by itself, so that way you can sell it. Otherwise, you're just selling nothing at that point. All my business is coming from yard signs. Yard signs work amazing, dude. I love yard signs. Somebody asked me today about yard signs. It was a different business. It was junk removal. He's like, you think you'll work in junk removal? I'm like, yep, I think it will. For $350, I'd give one hell of a try trying it for 100 signs. I am full-time. Big Rob. Tomorrow is rock flipping day. I'm excited. I like a treasure hunt, except I know I will find it. Consistent, prolific, relentless. And that's what you gotta be. You gotta be consistent, prolific, and relentless. What do I mean by that? Consistent. You gotta do it every day. You gotta do it when it's hard. You gotta do it when you don't wanna do it. You gotta do it when it's cold. You got to do it when it's hot. You got to do it every day. It don't matter what happens, you were doing it. Whether it's yard signs, whether it is door hangers, any of that stuff. We have to be consistent. Doing our blogs, all of that kind of stuff. Prolific means we're going to do it no matter what. It don't matter if the storm's coming. It don't matter what. We are being prolific and we are doing it. And we're going to do it relentlessly. It don't matter if we're tired and we've worked 20 hours and we're beat down and we don't want to do nothing and I just want to lay on the couch and sleep. We're still out there doing it. That's what I mean by being relentless. Flipping rocks. Flipping rocks can make you money. A truck by definition, 15 years old, 250,000 rusted out and bringing in 23,000 up in Ohio and PA. Pretty good money. Do you think I should get a little warehouse still in my first year making over 120? The thing about a shop is it's not making you money. Now, here's the thing about a shop. If you're hiring employees, I would highly recommend a shop. Just because the last thing you want to do is have people stealing from you, and that's what can happen. So that's why you would want to get a shop at that point. And a lot of times you can get bleach cheaper. You can get different things a lot cheaper by having a shop. Finished that slate roof restoration. We talked about 2 days and $8,000 in the bank. Knocked out a driveway the next day for $1,259. Wow. $9,200 in 3 days. Just think, guys, you can do that. You can do that. Everyone on this live can do a $9,600 in 3 days. That's pretty daggone good money. I don't care who you are. That's damn good money. And that's what happens when you be consistent, prolific, and relentless. Les called me for a house wash. I tried to upsell the fence and driveway. Now she only wants the fence washed. Yeah. Sold my first $10,000 job last week. I've been 5 years and it takes me. It takes time. It does. And a lot of this is probably, I'm assuming it's probably apartment complex or something like that. And that's where you got to start looking for. Those are some rocks that you got to start flipping, especially you, Mark. You've been in this business, and I would be trying to hit those apartment complexes and all of that. And I know you're going to have competition up there, but I would still be trying to hit on those pretty hard. Good to hear, Mark. I've done no commercial this year, but when I'm not pressing either. Price of yard signs have jumped up. Oh, I don't know. They was only $350 at pressurewashhelp.com/get signs. I don't know if they went up there or not. I haven't looked at them. Hey guys, and Mr. Richard. Thanks. It's a municipality building. Yep. How do you deal with someone who takes your signs and put theirs in place? That's a tough one. Call them. That can be hard. We had a guy local that he's kind of this type of person. And the dude went and took a picture of all his signs. He had probably, I bet he had 300 or 400 of his signs in his garage, and he took a picture of it, and he's like, if you take one more of my sign, I will bring these signs over and burn your shit down, is what he put on the text from a burner phone, so he couldn't track who it was. So you just got to be careful when you're playing with fire like that. Now, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you that you got to be careful with people, and especially you piss them off, that can be bad. We are balls to the wall. Average ticket price is $563. I didn't realize it was that high. And see, this is why it's good to track your numbers and look at your numbers, not every day, but once a month, once a quarter. All right, where am I at? It's probably better to track them about once a month. So that way we can say, all right, this is where we are. This is where we're going in. So right now, your average ticket is $563. Well, this month, let's see if we can get it up to $580. Let's see if we can get it up to $600. Little baby goals, little steps like that is how we can do it. Google ads versus Facebook ads. Both work. Both can be good. I know people that have grown businesses both ways. I never had much luck with Facebook ads. I know people that do have good luck with Facebook ads and not good with Google ads. So a lot of this is going to depend on more than just what you post, how much you post, where you post, all of that kind of stuff. State Line. Thank you, Jason, for your content is appreciated. I need to do a ride along with you, State Line. If you're on, either email me or because you're just right across the river. I need to do a ride along with you because that's awesome. At a job, you may get 85 a day. Yard signs are about 460 now. I can't believe they went up that high. I'd have to look. Go to pressurewashhelp.com/get signs. I have to focus on Google social media. Most neighborhoods are gated and have police department and or security. You do flyer signs, it will be gone by the time you ever go. They don't play. How do your sales over the phone or in person? That's a good question. Sales over the phone versus in person. So over the phone, they both have their goods and bads. They both have their advantages and they both have their disadvantages. So let's talk about in person first. In person, the pros is we can get an average higher ticket by doing in-person sales. We can go look at the house and be like, yep, we can clean the patio, we can clean the siding, you have a roof cleaning, the gutters have oxidation on them, the patio can be cleaned, we can put sealer down on it, we can do a lot by in person. Now, by doing it in person, here are some of the cons. Well, some more of the pros. Your average ticket is probably going to be higher than the person that does it over the phone. But that's not always a guarantee. Actually, I know two people in Florida that are one city away from each other, and their average tickets are pretty much right next to each other, and that they're pretty much right next to each other, but they are also, one does it in person and one does it over the phone. So, you know, in person versus that, I can give you both numbers. So that is one thing for in person. So we can usually maybe get our average ticket up. Our close rate might be a little bit higher because of that. Now, over the phone, I don't have to go meet people. I can give them a bid within 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I can have them a bid and ready to go. I can be on the phone and have them a bid in no time, where you can't do that in person. So with us, I had a very large service area. My service area was about, my service area was about my service area was about an hour north and an hour south. So there's no way I can go do in-person bids at this point. And and to be able to do where we were at, you're going to have 2 or 3 salesmen out there doing this here. So another thing is you're going to have more cost in having more people. So that is another thing with salesmen. So now I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that is another thing you got to look at to be able to do that. So in person, you can get higher tickets, maybe a higher close rate, but is it really worth it in the end? Is my close rate going to be high enough and my average ticket going to be high enough that it is going to overcome the cost of that employee and the other thing? Because most people that go in person are paying those people a percentage. And most of them aren't paying them a salary, so they're paying them like 10%. So you're giving 10% to a salesperson to do that. I can pay somebody $25 an hour on the phone, and that can get me a lot more. So that is definitely something that you got to look at, the in-person versus there. So that was a great question, whoever asked that. Oh, hi, Hero Pro. I have 13 5-star reviews on my Google My Business and constantly posting pictures, probably right around 100 picture mark. When do you think they will start getting any traction? It should help you. It should start going better. And so you just keep doing it. Make sure you're naming those pictures, all of that kind of stuff. Always make your goal or you will never get anywhere. Always make a goal. That's a good point. And I always preach this of making goals. Setting goals is very important. Are you using Dustin this year for lights? I need garland hookup, unfortunately. Maybe. I will have his link. You can go to christmaslights.io and go through that way, and that'll give you the link. I believe there's a place up in somewhere north that they were getting garland. I'll let you know. No, Jason, I'm in North Carolina, Outer Banks. Oh, all right. I thought you were a different dude then. Power wash ads are going for $100 a click here on Google. Yes, some places are. I am bumping my budget to $150 a click for pressure washing near me in Sarasota. When you do a test spot for the paint, if it messes up the paint, do you notify the owner that you messed up the paint in the test spot? How do you handle that? I would be letting them know that I can't wash this house, and I did do a test spot. And I would let this know in the very beginning of the house wash. This is something that I might even put in my terms and conditions of, hey, we're going to do a test spot. If it messes up the paint, we will not wash your house, and yes, you will have a messed up. And we're going to try to do it in an inconspicuous, I can't even say the word, area, like where a bush is, something like that. Keep digging, it will take off. What pay per ad are $150 click? Are you serious? Some people are $100 a click for Google ads, so it can get crazy. Jason, need your help bad. 2 jobs landed, but they asked for estimates. I started using Square Invoice, but it didn't like when connect to mobile. Then I use Jobber, not set up for pressure washing. I was going to say either use Jobber or CRM, something. Yard books for free, something. I do most in person. What's your close rate, Indigo, if you do it in person? What's your average ticket? Who do you recommend? I don't remember. Yes, it is getting crazy. Doing a lot of BDDM. If I'm competing with anyone that truly matters is PPW, and I'm more than happy to follow that act. What is the best way to wash a stained deck? I just used house wash mix and don't get crazy on the pressure. Not bad getting leads. I mailed to businesses only at this point they drag their feet. I have a LinkedIn business profile. How can I do marketing on LinkedIn? Is their course? Yes, I talk about this in mine, pressurewashhelp.com/free. You can get 30 days free and how to do it. And I talk a lot about it on here also. I've been at the #1 spot for over a year. I just need to start ranking higher in other places. I stopped using Google Ads last year and the phone rings all the time. You must have a good Google My Business. Run or you can pay me to paint it. I have LinkedIn, but not sure how to communicate with anyone. What is the average square foot price for cleaning a roof? Some people are like 40 cents to 47 cents if you're doing it off of that. Marquette is good. How much would an average square foot price for 1,000 square foot? That would be my minimum of $300. In my opinion, after you've been washing a few years, keep your clients happy and contact them once a year. A lot cheaper than. That's a good point. If you, your best, your best paying pressure, your best person for a customer is a person you've already washed for. If you're not following up, and this goes back to what I said in the very beginning, if you're not following up, and when I mean following up, I'm not just talking about following up for a week or 2 weeks. I'm talking about following up year after year after year after year. And yes, we are calling them in the spring to see if they need any washing done. Yes, we are calling them to see if they need any pressure washing done in the summertime. Yes, we are sending an email out saying, hey, we have a couple spots open for 4th of July if you need something cleaned. So that way we can make sure that we are getting customers. So if you're not texting them, if you're not calling them, if you're not leaving voice bombs, if you're not doing that kind of things to customers you've already had, you are, because you're worried about the $30 or $100 it's going to cost you to do ringless voice, or $100 to do text messages that could get you thousands of dollars worth of work. You are crazy. You are leaving money on the table. And yes, I'm talking to every one of you. I'm talking to the ones that have been in business for a year or 10 years. If you've been in business 5 years and you haven't called your customers in the last 5 years, you are stupid at that point. And I'm sorry to hit it hard, but you are not good at that point. So you need to make sure that you are calling these customers. You know, you can sit down and pay somebody for 40 hours of $15 an hour, some stay-at-home mom, and give her a script to go down and ask these certain questions of, hey, this is, you know, Julie with Pro Wash, Pressure Wash Help. And we were in the area. We're going to be in the area this week, or we're going to be in the area next week, and just seeing if you need any pressure washing. You will be surprised how many times they'll be like, man, I do need some pressure washing. Will you get me a quote? Well, yes, I'll get you a quote. Guess what? I just made more money by doing that. And yes, it is way cheaper than PPC. I washed my son's house for free and put a yard sign. I washed 3 of his neighbors for $450 so far. I close about 50%. My average ticket is really high. Most homes is over $3,000 in custom built and resort areas. I put my money into my Google. Decks are stained when you wash a house. How do you avoid the deck stain from fading and or going away? Because that type of stain they had is water. Make sure you pre-wet that deck and you don't let that stuff sit on there. How do you set up compensation for your employees when you hire them on? You can either do pay an hourly rate, or what I like to do. We did an hourly rate for about 3 months or 2 months to get them as a full technician. After they were a full technician, then we paid them percentage, 15%. Don't use surface cleaner on tile roof. Don't be that guy. There's guys in business 15 years using surface cleaner on roof. They haven't been sued for ruined roofs yet. I'm on the fence about that. I just looked, I closed at 60%. So you're actually higher than what you thought. What's your thoughts on House Call Pro or Customer Factor? They're both good. House Call, the Customer Factor, it can be very clunky. It's supposed to be getting redone. I've been hearing that it's getting redone for about a year now. So, yeah, so that's just the thing. But, that is definitely something that, you know, House Call Pro, people used to love it. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Same way with Jobber. You can go to house or pressurewashhelp.com/jobber or pressurewashhelp.com/House Call Pro, and it'll give you a little bit of discount. Try it for free for a couple days and do that. I'm wanting to do one of the things I'm wanting to do in July is to do some things with CRMs. I want to do a CRM test for like 2 weeks, putting in 25 customers probably in each CRM to show you all how it works and how you can, which ones are easy, which ones are not easy. And that way it gives me 2 weeks to figure out which ones are driving, which one's easy. And some of it is what do you want to know? So I'm probably going to hit on probably 4 or 5, 6, 7 different CRMs. And so there'll be videos out about that. Most of what I don't close is outside the resort areas. I have $1,000 to spend on marketing. What's the best return on investment? If you only have 1,000, unless you got 1,000 every month, I would probably put some in signs. I would put some in my 5 arounds. If you have a website, I would do some of that. That's not much for SEO or Google Ads, so I probably wouldn't put a lot into either one of those. I would probably do, if you can do signs, I would probably do about 200 signs. I am reading E-Myth, Eye Opener. That's a great book. If you haven't read that book, that's a great book for this podcast or this live that I'm doing right now, because it talks about how to run a business. What do you need to know about how to run a business? How all the different sections of running a business is. So if you haven't read E-Myth, go out there and listen to E-Myth. Very good book. What addition services can you think of that go well with pressure washing? Like, for example, gutter cleaning, window washing. Is there anything else? Concrete sealing, paver sealing, and Christmas lights. So go check out my Christmas lights, christmaslights.io. Deck staining, Mark Murphy. Yeah, that's okay. But here's the thing with deck staining. They are good money because you can charge a lot for deck staining. I actually got one of my good friends down in Lexington. He's been doing deck staining since probably 10, 15 years ago. And he's up to almost $8, $9 a square foot. And people are still taking him, still wanting him to do it. So it can be definitely crazy money. And that's just cleaning and staining. That's not even stripping. That's just cleaning and staining. So yes, deck cleaning can definitely be a great money maker. Window cleaning, I would do exterior only window cleaning. Again, sealing is another good thing to put, doing sealer, paver sealers, all of that kind of stuff. Thanks, Jason. See you at the Huge. This is super excited about that. If you're going to the Huge or thinking about signing up to the Huge and you want to help me out, we are having a contest. Go to pressurewashhelp.com/huge and type in the discount code KING, and you'll get $50 off, and you'll help me out in there. Deck staining. Keep up the great live streams. Thank you for the $10. What would be a good 5 around? Just something that has one service or two, saying basically that we cleaned your neighbor's house. Do you want your house clean? Love the contract section as much as you want. Trying to avoid deck staining. Yeah, that's hard work. And you got to deal with a lot of customers. That's what sucks about that. You got to deal with, wow, I want it this color, or I want that color. I mean, we did a house or we did a deck, and it was a big deck. It was a big deck. I think it was like a $4,000 deck. And he's like, my wife don't like the color, and we're like, well, it'll be about another 4,000 because we're gonna have to strip it and make it all right. So he did not. He decided not to do that. Are you applying sealer using the soft wash system? Usually I use the pump up sprayer. So yeah, I was using the soft wash system, a pump up sprayer. I love your podcast on Spotify. Awesome. How many other people? That's a good question. How many people in here listen to my podcast? It's kingofpressurewash.com/podcast. How many of you all listen to that? Does your course include contracts for customers? I go over a little bit. Laugh out loud. No, in the E-Myth is what I meant. Did a paver sand seal on Friday for $3,400. Thanks for the information on Trident Sealer. It is good stuff. It is. How did it go down all right for you, Mark? I've never used it personally. I was actually going to do a video on it, but I've never done it yet. So, Sin Gym is what I'm looking at for my 5 round. I mean 5 round of you going out there and doing a 5 round when you're at that customer's house. Few home owners seal around here, so I'm going to try and create a market this fall. Just seems ripe for the opportunity. There's a podcast. I'll go find it later. Yes, on there. Yeah, kingofpressurewash.com/podcast. If you also go to my blog, King of Pressure Wash, if you go to King of Pressure Washing and you go to blog, a lot of them are on there and you can find it through that way too. I have listened to all of them while cutting grass. Awesome. Podcast, yeah. I listen to the podcast every time I work along the extreme ownership, the dichotomy of leadership as well. Yes, better than Seal and Lock. Really, it was better than Seal and Lock, huh? I didn't know you had a podcast. I'm going to listen to it now. As far as collecting payments for commercial jobs, I give them 30 days to pay, but 90% of them pay in about a week. As far as homeowners, how long should I give the homeowner to pay? At the end of the service, I'd be getting money from them. I'm on Facebook group, but not a lot of people seal around here. Lots of cool info though. I use a SMK sprayer. Teak. I tried getting Trident sealer. They said I would have to drive to New Jersey to get the sealer and sand. They said SCK Products are the same as they are part of the family and much cheaper. Huh. Yeah, Teak, and I didn't get back to you today because I was driving all day today and doing family stuff. So way more gloss and sand lock as well. Awesome. That's good to know. Because like I say, I haven't used that. I was going to use it also for the concrete sealer. I know it's going to be a little bit more, but the concrete sealer, but that is definitely, I was going to look at that too. I use Power Seal from Power Source Industry. Lays down easy, lasts 3 to 5 years. What do you think the biggest mistake you ever made in business? Biggest mistake made in business. There's a couple. One, the one I probably won't mention, but not knowing my numbers early enough, not knowing, not learning marketing early enough, because marketing is the number one thing that you got to do. If you're not doing marketing and knowing your numbers to do marketing, you will not grow your business. You will not get to the next level. It is hard to do without marketing. And, once I figured out Google Ads, I put the hammer down on Google Ads. And this has been, it was $6 to $10 a click, not $50, $100 a click or $20 a click. So that is probably the biggest thing of not marketing soon enough and knowing my market. Trident ship. Trident is more than SEK. What do you think about your ROI for door hangers? Are they really worth it? I only did it on 5 rounds, and the ROI isn't. The thing about it is, it's not that you're spending that much. It's so that's one thing. I'm not a door hanger fan unless you like to lose weight, and you can see I'm pretty fat, so I don't like to lose weight. So door hangers was not for me. I probably handed out 500 door hangers and got this many calls. Now, I know that that's not enough door hangers to give a good assessment of it, but that was enough for me to know that that's not my way to go on. It's about $470 a bucket, and the concentration makes 25 gallons. And you can make that in two different batches, if I remember right. You don't have to make it all in one go. Finding good employees is the hardest part of growing my business. Can be. Jason, what's a good way to reach you to acquire about the Christmas lights? I'm thinking about doing it but have questions. You can email me, pressurewashhelp@gmail.com, or if you friend me on Facebook, you can send me a message there too. Marketing is important. People don't know you exist. So one other thing I'm going to hit on here too before I jump off here. I have a 8 gallon a minute pressure washer unit for sale. It is for a truck bed. I am going to sell it as a business. I am going to give other things away with it. I am going to give you a website. So we'll give you a website with it. I will run your Google My Business for 1 year, putting photos, all of that kind of stuff into it. And you will get the truck. It's a truck skid mount. It will go for, I believe I'm going to try to get 16,000 out of it. And it does have a 8 gallon a minute. It has 2 reels. If you want a soft wash system, I can add a soft wash system. It does not have a soft wash system on it now, but I will add it if you want it. Again, I'm looking to get about 16,000 out of it. Again, you will get a website. You will get, I will do your Google My Business. I will post 3 posts a week. I will do your 3 posts a week. I will do up to 10 pictures a month. So if you send me 10 pictures, I will also add you 10 pictures. So that way you can do that. It will fit in the 6 foot bed. I have the 6 foot Chevy bed. It will fit in there, no problem. So it is a 10 gallon a minute. There is room that you can put your surface cleaner. It does have the ladder rack, all of that kind of thing. So if you are looking to start a business, that is what I'm willing to do it for. And again, you will get a website. You will get, and I'll pay the hosting for the first year. And then after that, you will have to actually, I'll probably just keep the hosting if you want me to, because it's under my site, or it'll be under my normal site anyway. But if you want the hosting, so that'll be the website. It'll be me doing the Google stuff and getting and I'll put all your citations, all of that stuff will be included in it. So it won't just be a dummy site. It'll be a good website. It'll be good with all your citations. I'll do all of that kind of stuff for you. So if you're looking to start a business or you're wanting all of that kind of stuff, go check out. Let me know. Send me an email, pressurewashhelp@gmail, or hit me up on Facebook. Are 2 ways that you can do that. And again, it'll be 16,000. So let me know. What do you think about buying leads? I think you have to do whatever you got to do to get business. Curious, Jason, do you do marketing for other businesses, or do you just give out helpful information on how? I'm actually going to start doing stuff in July. I've had a couple people ask me. I'm going to do Google My Business stuff, and I'll probably do some website stuff. But it will be my websites. It's not like I'm going to be doing other stuff to other people's websites. in the sand. Sorry, I only use pool filters. In. What do you think about buying leads? I think that's not a bad thing. I wouldn't buy them through Home Advisor. Oh, that's not where I would buy them. 16 with the extra goodies, that's a deal. Yeah, especially with everything going up. Any and here's the thing, I built this stupid thing, and a lot of times people don't realize how much stuff costs. Sometimes Jason forgets how much stuff costs. Shipping is killing me right now. When I built this unit, shipping killed me. I probably spent $600 to $800 just in shipping for tanks and all the other stuff that comes along with it. So when you're building a rig, don't forget about good old shipping, because that's the part that sucks. I may be buying your Google ads. Will you be available soon? Yes, I will. I had a fleet wash job fall into my lap. $1,300 a week, 80 trailers. It's mine if I want them. They require water reclaim. Need to purchase $10,000 worth of equipment. Is it worth it? The reclaim hazmat. And some of that is going to depend on how much you got to reclaim. So that's going to be that. Home Advisor is now Angie's List officially. Well, they've been that for a long time, about a couple years. So. But again, go check out pressurewashhelp.com/free. You can find all that kind of stuff. Jason, are you getting into skid building? No, I built this skid because I wanted the videos. So I've got 20 videos on building a rig. I hadn't built a rig in almost 2 years. So I wanted to have lots of videos on how to build a rig. I'm getting back to helping you guys, and I know a lot of these guys are regulars right now, but I'm getting back to helping even just starting out and getting the rigs built, getting all of that kind of stuff. That's kind of where, it's like you guys in pressure washing, there's a niche for everything. So my niche is kind of to the new people. Yes, I give value. I give value here of helping you get to the next level, helping you figure out what to do. But I've kind of slowed down this year. My YouTube views hasn't went up a whole lot. They've just kind of stayed. And so I've kind of switched of what I've been talking about. And so I'm going to hit on that. And yes, I will be doing GMB managing services is what I'll be doing. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I still give value, but I'm also wanted to go back to the basics of how to build stuff so that way I can get those videos out. Jason, 1625 per trailer. Hydroflow sounds a little cheap to me, but I don't know about fleet washing. And I don't know much about fleet washing either. I'm not going to be bad. They got a bad name as a Service Magic and now Home Advisor and can't run rep. Now Angie's List. Finally got my Titan full frame electric hose reel. Shipping was $185. Yeah, shipping can get stupid sometimes. Your lives are great. Support for many levels. Awesome. And I try to. I'm going to keep my podcast. I'm keeping doing this here. It's just things I'm trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. I love helping people, and the new person is really my niche, helping you get started. And yes, I love doing the motivation side of things, but motivation side of things don't always pay the bills. Sometimes people don't want to hear the motivation things, but that is definitely where I'm looking at doing of what I'm doing. So. The pup trailers are 26 single, $1,300 is the price they pay for the current washer, but they are not reclaiming, estimating 1,100 gallons. Well, here's the deal then. If they're paying that dude $1,300 a week and he's not reclaiming, then I'd be raising my prices of reclaiming. I wouldn't do it the same amount if you got to reclaim. There's a reason why he's not reclaiming and doing that. So gallons a day, 3 days a week. 3 days a week for $1,300 ain't great money, unless that's $1,300 a day. That don't sound like a very good deal to me. I think that's probably why they're not reclaiming either. I am new here. Thanks, guys. Good talk. Have a great night. You have helped me so in many ways, Jason. Forever appreciated. Where is your contract video? Thought you about buying the PDF file contract from Aramine and Lean. Um, I mean, here's the thing, guys. A contract is only good as what it's worth. Um, my contract is in my. It ain't nothing special because I know there's a video out there that talk about contracts and how if he would have had a contract, he would have never killed these fish and all that. It's a bunch of BS. I'm going to tell you, that's a bunch of BS. If you kill fish, I don't care what the crap you've done, what contract, you're going to be paying for these fish. Now, if you don't clean around them, that's a different story. But that don't have nothing to do with a flipping contract. So a contract is only good as what it's worth. And a contract is only good is if you get it signed and not just a, well, if you agree to these terms and you say yes to this, that signs it. No, that actually has got to be signed as a contract. If you catch somebody's house on fire, that contract ain't going to do you a whole lot of good because they're coming after your insurance. Now, it can be a good scare tactic, but that's about it. I was fully motivated by your podcast, especially with the one with Bobby on him. Two guys I highly respect. Thanks for taking the time to share those information. Awesome. Any lawyer can work around a contract. Amen to that. Looking forward to some contracts, big, small, they will add up. Contacts. Awesome, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off here. I'm in Santa Claus, Indiana. There's some Christmas lights. This place kind of sucks for Christmas lights. You can see as dark as it is, and nobody's got Christmas lights up. I don't know what the heck they're thinking. If I was in Santa Claus, Indiana, I'd be lighting everything up, being the biggest Christmas light thing ever. That's all about marketing, right? Marketing, marketing, marketing. So with that said, if you want to check out, I will be putting my in-person training. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com/in-person training, and I will be hitting up on some things about Christmas lights and the in-person training also. So hope you all have a great night.